Okay, hello everyone. So this is part 2 of the college algebra review that we were working on. And I'm gonna try to do this, it's mostly by videos. So the last one that we left off in was number 11, and we are now gonna do number 12. So it says, so let's just get right to it. So it says, for the graph above, choose the options, and I think it says, for the graph above, choose the option below that describes all the set of all zeros for the function. And I'm not sure exactly how or what graph they're referring to. Oh Lord. So I believe it's for this graph here. So if we look at this graph, the zeros for the function, so basically a zero, remember that a zero is any function that crosses the x-axis. So the zeros for this function is going to be x equals -2 and x equals 2. At least I believe they're referring to this graph, because I don't think that, that they're referring to any other graph. They don't show any other graph here, so it would be x equals -2 and x equals 2. So your answer would be C for this one. Okay. All right. All right, number 13, it says, what is the correct way to represent x such that -2 is less than x is less than or equal to 5 in interval notation? So remember that if we have an interval of the form a is less than x is less than or equal to b, this will imply that we have a, and because it's less than, we're going to use a parentheses and then comma and then do our b value. But for our b value, we're going to do a bracket, right? So this is all this is saying is we're going to do -2 parentheses -2 and then comma 5, and then that's going to be a bracket, right? So your answer for this one is B. Okay. All right. Number 14, find the exact value of the logarithmic expression ln of 1 over e cubed. All right, so there's a few things that I want to remind you guys of this, right? Now, this one says that if, so basically, I have the ln of, so there's two ways to do this. Number one, if you know that the ln of a over b equals ln of a minus ln of b, you can do that, right? However, you have to be careful, because that's not the only thing you have to do. You have to say, so you would have ln of 1 minus ln of e cubed. However, this is, ln of 1 is 0, so you're going to get 0 minus the ln of e cubed. Now, if you remember, you also have to remember ln of a to the n is equal to n ln of a, right? This will move to the front, so you're going to get negative the quantity. It will be 3 ln of e. And if you remember, ln of e is always equal to 1, right? So it'd be -3 times 1, which is -3. That is one way to do it. The other way to do it is you can say that 1 over e cubed is equal to e to the -3, so you would say ln of e to the -3, which is ln of e raised to the -3 power, and you would move this to the front. You would say -3 ln of e. And if you know that ln of e is 1, you would say -3 times 1, which is -3. This is another way to do it. So your answer to this one is A, -3. All right, number 15. Find the exact value of the logarithmic expression log of 4 plus log of 5 minus log of 2. Okay. Now, remember that in the laws of logarithms, or the properties of logarithms, when we have log of x plus log of y minus log of z, right? Let me actually write that again. So you would have, it would be log, this is equal to log of xy over z, right? So, given this, x equals 4, y equals 5, and z equals 2, right? So you're going to say log of the quantity 4 times 5 over 2, which is equal to log of 20 over 2, which is log of 10. Now, notice that because we have, anytime you have log of a, that means that log, or rather, if you have log of a, that means that b is equal to 10. So that's just saying that log of a is equal to log base 10 of a. Okay, so if we have log base 10 of 10, you can use the rule that says log base b of b. These two cancel out, so it's just 1. So your answer to this one is 1. Okay, so that was number 15. All right, number 16. Okay. Which statement best describes the asymptotes of the function g of x equals 3x plus 5 over x minus 6? All right. Now, one of the things that I don't know if I went over this or not, but when you have an oblique asymptote, right? Oblique asymptote or they also call it a slant asymptote. That is when ax plus b over cx plus d is equal to a remainder r of x, and that remainder is your slant asymptote. That is if it does have a remainder. So if we do 3x plus 5 divided by x minus 6, we would do times 1, right? That'll give us x minus 6, and then that'll be how is it? So it'd be 2x, and you would do 5 minus -6, which is 5 plus 6, 2x plus 11. And basically, oh, and by the way, actually, it would be 3, because we want to get rid of 3x. That's our goal here. You want to get rid of 3x, so you're going to get 3, and then when you do that, you have 3 times x minus 6. This is 3x minus 18, so you're going to say minus the quantity 3x minus 18, and then 5 minus -18, that's going to be 5 plus 18, which is 23. So your remainder will be, so it's 3 plus 23 over x minus 6. And I don't think that there is a slant asymptote here. I don't think there is, because if there was, obviously it would be y equals, right? And the remainder that we have here is 23. It is not 3, right? So I don't think it's C in this case. Now, to find the vertical asymptote, we set the denominator equal to 0. So the vertical asymptote is x equals 6. And the horizontal asymptote, remember that if we have 3x to the n over x to the m and m equals n, so the degree of the numerator equals the degree of the denominator. They both have a degree of 1, right? So it's going to be 3x over x, y equals 3x over x, which is 3. So y equals 3 would be our horizontal asymptote. Okay, so that would be our horizontal asymptote. So the horizontal asymptote is y equals 3, and the vertical asymptote is x equals 6. So the answer to this one is D. All right. So number 17, which best describes the intercepts for the graph of g of x equals x over the quantity x minus 1 times x plus 2. So to find the y-intercept, of this graph, you want to set x equal to 0. So you're going to say g of 0 equals 0 over 0 minus 1 times 0 plus 2. That equals 0 over negative 1 times 2, which is 0 over negative 2, which is just 0. So the y-intercept is y equals 0, right? It's at y equals 0. It is not y equals 0. It's y-intercept at y equals 0, right? And the x-intercept, so to find the x-intercept, you need to set g of x equal to 0. So you would say 0 equals x over x minus 1 times x plus 2, right? So to solve this, you're going to go ahead and say x minus 1. It's going to be times x minus 1 times x plus 2 on both sides. These two cancel out. You're going to get x, or rather, sorry, hold on. So it's going to be, actually, right? And actually, these two cancel out. These two. And then you're going to say x equals 0, because 0 times anything is 0. So your x-intercept would be x equals 0. So your solution would be that your y-intercept is at x equals 0. And when you say x equals 0, you get y equals 0. So rather your x-intercept would just be 0, 0. And your y-intercept would be 0, 0. So they would both be 0, 0. C. All right. Determine the maximum number of real zeros that the polynomial p of x equals negative 6x to the 6th plus 7x to the 5th minus 4x to the 4th plus 3x squared plus 9x minus 47 we'll have. This one, this is number 18. So this one, you wanna kind of be careful because there's a difference between turning points and zeros, right? The turning point is the degree minus 1, right? So basically, if I have a function f of x equals x to the n, the turning points will be n minus 1. But we're not looking for the turning points here. We want to know the maximum number of real zeros. Anytime you have any maximum degree here, then that will be the maximum number of zeros that the polynomial will have. So the answer to this one is 6. It's A, right? All right, so it says, here, compute f composited of g of 2. So f composited of g of 2 given that f of x equals 2x and g of x equals x squared minus 3. This is number 19. So remember that f composited of g of x is equal to f of g of x. And first we want to do, so that means that f composited of g of 2 will be f of g of 2. And we first want to find g of 2, right? G of 2 is going to equal the quantity 2 squared minus 3, which is 4 minus 3, which is just 1, right? Now, be careful. That's not your answer. You still have to plug in f of 1 or f of g of 2 for what g of 2 is. So this means that 1 will be plugged into here. F of 1 will then be, so your f of x is 2x, so it's just going to be 2 times 1. So it's going to be f of 1 equals 2. So that means that f composited of g of 2 will be 2. And that is your answer. It's B. Right? Okay. Find the inverse of the following one-to-one function. All right. So that means that if we have a so the reason why it's a one-to-one function is because obviously there's only one y for every x. That's why they call it a one-to-one function. So what you're going to do is you're going to say that y equals 1 over x minus 2. You're going to switch x and y. So you're going to say x equals 1 over y minus 2. And this is number 20. So this is number 20 on the exam. So you're then going to say, you're going to multiply by y minus 2 on both sides. So then you get x times y minus 2 equals 1. And you can then divide by x on both sides. And you get that y minus 2 equals 1 over x. So then you add 2 on both sides, right? This cancels out. You get y equals 1 over x plus 2. And that basically, it's 1 over x quantity and then plus the quantity 2. So your answer is D. Okay. Let's see how much. Okay. All right. So it says identify the vertex of the following quadratic. All right. X squared minus 2, h of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. So to do this one, let me, Oh my god. Okay, so yes, for this one, we get that the vertex is 1, -4, and the answer is C. Okay. I don't know if the video, if my thingy got all of that, but basically, you do -b/2a, and then you because a is 1, b is -2, c is -3, so then it would be -b/2a, and we got x equals 1, and then all we did here is plug 1 in for x, and then we got h of 1 is -4, so when x equals 1, y equals -4, and that is our vertex. Okay, I don't know if my OBS studio got all of that, but yeah. Okay, so this number 22 says choose the option that best describes the function y equals 2x to the 4th minus x squared. So this one says, so basically it is even if, and give me 1 second, meanwhile I actually look for, because I think I know how to do this one, it's been a while since I've taken algebra, so I cannot quite remember, so give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so this one, so there's a rule, it says that the function is even if f of -x equals f of x, okay? And we have f of x equals 2x to the 4th minus x squared. Now we want to do f of -x and see if that equals f of x. So this one would be, so f of -x would be 2 times -x raised to the 4th power minus -x raised to the 2nd power. Now, this one, so then it would be 2 and then -x to the 4th power, that's just -x times -x times -x times -x, which is x squared times x squared, right? This is x to the 4th. So it'd be 2 times x to the 4th minus, and then -x squared, obviously, is just x squared, right? So it would be, so f of -x would be 2x to the 4th minus x squared. Now, it does equal f of x. F of -x does equal f of x. So it is even. Okay. So it's A for this one. All right, it says which option describes a circle with a radius of 4 and a center at 2, -3. Okay. Now the radius, if you remember from algebra, the equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. The radius, they say the radius is 4, right? R is 4. The center, remember that the center is hk. So, because the center is at 2, -3, that means that h is 2, k equals -3. So if we plug this into our equation, we would say x minus, and we want to put parentheses, even though it's positive, we still want to put parentheses in case there aren't any negatives, you know. X minus 2 quantity squared, like the whole thing squared, plus y minus -3, and then that all of that squared equals 4 squared, right? So this equals x minus 2 quantity squared plus y, and then minus -3, that's y plus 3 squared equals 16. So your answer to this one we look at our answers here, is going to be B, okay? Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on. Okay, so 3 more minutes, okay. Alright, so I believe this is probably the last one for this video that I'm going to do because, again, I don't want to make it more than 30 minutes. So let's just do this one. So it says, write the equation of a line that goes through the points 2, -6, and -1, 3. Now, the first thing you have to do, and you can always do a sketch. -1, 3 would be like right here, and 2, -6 would be right here. So you always go from left to right to know where your x1, y1 is and your x2, y2 is. This is 2, and then this is -6, and this is -1, and this part is 3, right? So this point is 2, -6, and this point is -1, 3, right? So this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. It always goes from left to right, okay? So your m would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And of course, there are ways to do this, but because it's asking for it in slope-intercept form, I'm going to go ahead and do it without doing point slope. But you can do it using point slope if you know how to do that. So basically we have that our slope would be -6 minus, and then our y1 is 3, over, and then x2 is 2, minus our x1, that's -1. So it's going to be -6 minus 3 over 2 plus 1. This is equal to -9 over 3, which is -3. So our slope is -3. Now, we can use point slope form for this. We know that -1, 3 is x1, y1. So we have y minus 3 equals, and our m is -3. -3 times a quantity x minus, because we have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, so it would be -3 times x minus, and then our -1 value, right? We have y minus 3 equals -3 times x plus 1, which is y minus 3 equals -3x minus 3. We add 3 on both sides, we get y equals -3x. That's one way to do it. The other way would be, we know our m, right? Y equals -3x plus b, and the way that you would find your b value is you can plug in any point that they give you. So we can plug in 2, -6 for x and y, so we can say x equals 2, y equals -6, right? So we can say -6 equals -3 times 2 plus b. -6 equals -6 plus b. So b, if we add 6 on both sides, is equal to 0. So that means that our equation will be -3x plus 0, y equals -3x plus 0, or y equals -3x. Okay, so the answer to this one would be D. Okay. Okay, guys. So that's gonna conclude this video. I did go over as much as I could. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, you can let me know. And I will do my best to answer. And also, yes, these, I guess for this part, there was calculator allowed, at least I think. But again, I didn't really use a calculator for any of these. I know for this one, it says short answer questions, so we're gonna do those in the next video. But like I said, guys, if you like this video, if you found it helpful, please like, comment, and or subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And in the next video, we are gonna do the next part of this review and hopefully finish it in the next part. So with that being said, guys, I hope this helps, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.